Okay, and we're live.
I am just gonna trust the chat room, like the normal chat room here, and
Yeah,
not pull up
that's a good
YouTube.
idea. That's a good idea.
Oh,
Okay, so we are doing our live show for Beach Read by Emily Henry. What did you think?
my heart, I could not. Oh,
Hi,
I
Hannah.
literally finished this today.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, do you have just the live show chat room up?
Yes, how do I put
Oh,
it
wait,
to
wait,
where
wait.
you can see the
I got it. I was still in the private chat thing. Hi,
Oh no,
Hannah.
you're good. How do I pop up the comments?
You just click on them.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
And I'm sorry, I can still hear, but my computer's being super laggy. So
Not liking on
If
my
I
side.
just like if I just like stare off into the distance, it's because y'all are frozen on my side, like of what I'm seeing, but I can still hear you, so it's fine.
Okay, what did you think?
Oh, well, first off, 5 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
Did you rate that too?
Yeah.
I was not expecting. Is this her debut novel?
I think so. Isn't that crazy? I want to say it's a debut.
Somebody go look that up. I Are you looking up to see if it's debut novel?
Yes, let's see.
If this is her debut novel, I am thoroughly impressed, and I want to read everything. Just like Casey McQuestion,
No.
I want to read everything.
Okay, wait. No.
So I was a little afraid because this book was getting so much hype that I
I
was
know.
afraid that it wasn't going to live up to it. Oh my goodness. I'm so glad that it did.
I know. I know. It was so good.
Also, I have to admit, I definitely teared up at the end.
With the letters, I did too.
No, 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 the very, very end. I was not expecting. Oh, yeah. So if you haven't read this book, obviously there's going to be spoilers, so don't watch this.
You mean like the ending of like wait.
The proposal.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I was not expecting the proposal. It took me so off guard. I was
I
like,
know. So cute.
I know, and I was just like, because they were so focused on like, oh, this is the like happy for now, and I was like, I kind
I
of love
know.
that. And then like he turned around and like proposed to her with the like note, and I was like, oh my god, my heart.
I know it was so freaking cute. Okay, I think it's her debut. I think it's her debut.
Oh, it was so cute.
I want to say it's her. Yeah. I don't see anything else by uh, Emily Henry.
Were you
The
expecting the
notes,
proposal?
I was not. I was not.
I felt like I was like, I usually can call so much stuff in romance because it's very predictable. And
Yeah,
I felt like in this book, like I had definitely in my head a like idea of what was happening, and I none of it came true.
I know. Okay, I don't. No, I don't think it's her debut. Actually, I don't. It says she writes stories about love and family for both teens and adults. So I don't think it's her debut.
Also, Gabby, you're gonna have to click off of the messages to get them
Oh,
to. Yeah.
got it. Sorry. Okay, no, she's not. She's the author of The Love That Split the World and A Million Junes. Okay, so it's not her debut.
Oh yeah. So, do you guys notice that it's Augustus and January? So like August and January.
Yeah,
I wonder what if she just has like a thing. Because then you said like something about June. Does she just have a thing for months being named?
maybe.
I wonder
Either
what the other one, the love that split the world. I wonder if that one's like July. Like,
I I want to read more by her. Her writing is so beautiful and it just flows so eloquently and it just her descriptions is so vivid and I love her metaphors and her similes and it's just I love her writing style. And you know what? When you read the synopsis, um you think that like you're going to be getting dual perspectives and I actually like that it's only from one character.
yeah, it makes Augustus be a little bit more mysterious. I like that we get to
Yes.
find things out slower with him.
I do too. I do too. It's just the way the synopsis, you know how like romance will have like a little synopsis about the female character and then the male character or like one love interest, the second love interest and then um I like that it was just first person her point of view.
Yes.
Yeah. Um there's just so much to discuss. I really loved this book.
Yes. Okay. So, did you have any points that you didn't like about this book?
Um See, it's hard because like no, like everything about it I really enjoyed because I could understand.
It was
Like,
very relatable.
yes, so like I didn't like how her and her mother's relationship took a turn, but then I'm like, but that's so realistic. Um, and there was really nothing that I didn't like. I loved their banter. I loved their sass. I loved the writing with the notes in the mirror. I loved how it wasn't just happily picture perfect life, which
Yeah.
is weird because normally I'm into that stuff.
Hmm. So, I think I loved everything about this. I don't think this is necessarily a flaw in the writing or it's something that I necessarily would have changed. I could have just done without the Sonia bits. I don't think it added that much to the story. And, like, mm,
See, I liked it. I liked how they ended it and like how she like reached out and like I don't know, I like that. And I like that it didn't end on like she's just like you I don't know. I liked it. I didn't think it was that bad.
I didn't like how it turned the focus of her dad's death into something that Sonia needed to atone for. And
Yeah.
she made it about herself.
But that's what a person would do though.
I I think a horrible person would do that. I,
Yeah.
a horrible person would push their way into
No,
someone's
I
grieving
agree.
process to make sure that they weren't being judged.
Yeah. I guess you're right.
I wish that she would have just made a reference to like I wish that Sonia would have like caught her at the book club, left, and just would have been like, "I just want you to know your dad would be so proud of the writer that you are today. You guys shared that in common." And like made a note to him writing to her, be like, and her being confused and her just being like, "Just read the letter," and could have left it at that.
Yeah.
Versus it being like this big thing that she needed to do for her.
Yes, that's true. Yes.
That made it a little bit of a sour tinge to
Yeah.
it.
Well, I don't think Sonia's supposed to be a likable person.
I disagree. I think that they could have made her very evil, and it wasn't. She was very like not the other woman trope because she didn't know
Yeah. Yeah, I
they
guess you're
got
right.
together when they were separated, and like she didn't push when her father started to back away. Like she let him and she moved
Hmm.
on, and like so I don't think she was
That's
necessarily
true.
not supposed to be likable.
That's
It's just
true.
that part was very sour taste in my mouth.
Very true. I don't like how she showed up at the funeral. I think that was poorly done. I do agree. Like, there could have been another place and time to have given her the letter with like all of, and I don't think the funeral is an appropriate time. I completely agree.
but I do think that part was necessary to have the riff between
Yes.
January and her mom.
But I think that could have happened either way because in the letters he does say that your mom knows about it. And then she could have, but then again, she reads the letters at the very end of the book. So maybe
Yeah.
you're right. Maybe, but if she,
I
once
think they
he
needed
find out, yeah,
initial conflict there, and to watch
yeah,
her mom go through that grieving process and instantly turn
yeah,
to anger at that point,
yeah,
because she needed to know that, because without even telling, that's how like a author shows the reader emotion, so you can tell by that interaction that her
yeah.
mom knows who she is and she's
Hmm.
mad about it, that she's showing up and things like that.
That's true.
So I think like I as much as like that like is horrible to do, I think that part's necessary to
That's
have
true.
that like grind against January and her mom's relationship and to be able to repair that later.
Yeah.
My part is I don't really think it was necessary for Sonia to corner her at her house type
No,
of thing. That's the
fair
part that I
enough.
would have changed.
Oh, fair enough. I also, for some reason, the interactions, like the emails between them, I think they were emails, um, between them, like she's like, I'm selling the porch furniture. I thought it was really big of January to reach out. It kind of irked me where she's like, I can't afford them. If you're willing to give them to me, I'd be happy to come pick them up. All she could have said is like, no, thank you. I appreciate the offer, kind of thing. I don't know. That for some reason, I was kind of like, "Mm."
I well
She's like selling it. She literally said, I'm selling them. I don't know. Maybe it's just, it's a tiny little thing. I
well
don't
I
even
think
know
she
why
said
it
like
irked me.
I wish I could find that part. Um but I think she just says like would you want the furniture? And that's why it was confusing because she didn't
Maybe
say
you're
that she
right.
was selling them.
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. I need to find her actual email. Uh, you might be right. I found the email that she responded with.
So it should be right there.
Yeah, it should be very close.
I kind of felt like that was her olive branch of her to Sonia being like, do you want a piece of him?
Yeah, that's true.
Because I
That's what
mean,
I'm
like,
saying. It was very big of her.
yeah, she was the one who, like, pretty much decorated the whole house. She said that that was, like, all must have been
Yeah,
Sonia's stuff.
yeah. It definitely it's a good character development for January, like a kind of a change. It's where
Yeah.
things well, it's like one of the oh, here it is. I'm beginning to sort out things at the house. Did you want the furniture on the porch or should I sell it? You're right.
Yeah.
Okay. You're very okay. I must have missed that.
So it makes it a little bit better.
Yeah, it does.
It does also make, like, it a little awkward. Granted,
Yeah.
that, again, that's very realistic. It's not going to be not awkward.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Um,
were
go
you
ahead.
trying to predict things in this book?
So I was because I was like, this is really interesting because I was curious how like it's based on happy like endings never end happy. I had a feeling they would end up together in the end. I wasn't expecting the proposal, but I did
No.
have a feeling that they would end up together. I kind of had a feeling that the books being sold would kind of be like very equal too, as well.
Mhm.
Like she sold first, but he sold, I think, a little bit made more, I want to say.
Yeah, that's what it ended. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of predicted that as well. Um, but the ending to his story and just like how things kind of played out, the father's letters, I was not expecting that. Like, so yeah, there's a lot that I was hard to predict.
I was really thinking that the books they were writing, that his story was going to be their love story. Like he was writing their love story that had actually played out.
Yeah,
And I was really like been like, oh, that would be really cute. And then I was a little disappointed that like I had that in my head because it didn't play out like that.
Yeah. Hmm.
And then I was also, because she kept talking about like how poor she was, that he would like kind of let her win. So then like he would have to like do
Yeah.
all of this type of thing.
Hmm.
Which I had like a love-hate relationship with that idea, but I thought that's what it was going to happen. Um, Also with I was really expecting in the safe to there to be like a crap ton of money for her
Yeah.
that he was like leaving behind to help out with her financial situation. But I'm also glad that it didn't end up that way because that's tying up a little too loose ends.
Yeah, actually, I'm really confused. Does he have a boat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she could sell the boat for a decent amount.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she sold the house, and the house was
That's true. Yeah.
like for her too. I was kind of hoping she'd keep the house.
No, I'm actually glad she sold it.
Really?
Yeah, I was like thinking I was actually really happy because like she just she couldn't like sh if I were in her situation, I feel like that could never be my home and I could never like feel comfortable there. And
I
so,
know, but that's where her and Gus's like relationship started.
yeah, but at his too, both of theirs.
I know, but like that God, that's so cute. Like
It is cute, but I'm actually really glad that she's so it's so funny. I think I'm turning into a cynic. But no, I'm glad she sold it. I'm really glad. I think I would have not liked if she had kept it. It's just like it wasn't necessarily like and not that it wasn't hers to keep because it was, but it was just like her way of moving on.
yeah, it had a very poetic ending the way that she
Yeah.
said like she heard that the kids running around in the next door house like they could make happy memories and that's all they would know. It is
Yeah.
very poetic the way that
Yeah.
it was ended.
I agree. Yeah. It definitely comes full circle. I love the and I know you touched on this, but the happy now versus happy ever after. I love that. I think that is such a I wish there was more like happy now um young adult too because especially in that time when you're a teenager and you're young and things are things just seem so it's like everything's the end of the world kind of thing. It's hard to like really see what's going on in the future, like your future, like when you're having heartache. And it's really, I love that. Like,
They're
you
the ones
don't,
that need that message.
yeah, you don't see a
Yeah.
lot of like live now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Hannah says I was hoping that she would have kept the house and used it like a writing office. Right? That would have been so cute.
That would have been cute, actually. But I think
Especially
eventually they would
especially
have
because
sold
like
it though, since they're getting married.
yeah, eventually. But I like especially because like they're when they write together, they like with them being in the same room it was too distracting. So it would have been cute being like, okay, I need separate space because we both have to go write our books.
Oh,
Like that would
yeah.
have been so cute. And they could keep up with the note thing too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that note thing. Oh, so cute. So cute.
Yep. Especially because they did like make a note or like a nod to Taylor Swift, being like, "This reminds me of a Taylor Swift music video."
I know.
Like that's great.
Or the seventh Pirate of the Caribbean movie.
Yes, yes.
I I loved all of the jokes. January's hilarious. She is so likable from the beginning.
I really liked that. It was when they had really witty moments or really funny moments, it took you by surprise. It wasn't
Yes.
like beat after beat, you're constantly expecting it, and that way it really like surprises you when it is when they throw in those zingers, and I really like
Yeah,
that.
it added for good comedic relief, especially and also it was like at times that you're like not expecting it kind of thing. Things that like you wouldn't expect sass.
Yes,
Um,
I
I
really
can't
like Shoddy too. She was
oh,
great.
she's
I wish we would have.
amazing.
I wish we would have gotten a little bit more of her.
She's amazing. But like I guess the carnival scene where she kind of like she gives like a quick you know, my dad died and he was cheating on my mom. And then he like, I think he cracked a little joke after she said that, and it was just like it was unexpected because it's like that's just such a um it's like how do you react in that kind of moment, when someone tells you that? And I thought it was like a perfect response. They just had great response to everything for each other.
So while I was reading, I don't remember what page this is on, but I took a picture of it because it was like so damn cute. It's probably my favorite quote in the book. That, and then he references it once more, but it was the first time he said it. He goes, Gus touched the side of my face. I don't need snowflakes to kiss me as long as there's January. And I was like, oh my God, my heart.
Oh, oh, yes, yes. Sexy evil Gus,
Mm-hmm.
SEG.
Yes,
Oh,
I would love a spin-off companion for Shotty.
yes. Oh, okay. I like this scene because I happened to turn on that page. That's really funny. Where they're in her basement and they're like kissing, and then he says God, and she's like, "Are you praying to me?"
Yep. I also like the like egotistical, like your books are behind me right now. Like I loved that little like jab.
The bookshelf scene.
So what like favorite excursion of theirs did you like the best?
I don't know. You
There was
tell
a
me.
lot to choose from.
Yeah.
I I liked the hiking part because it's like we got to really see like raw Gus. So I liked them
Mhm.
going out and like exploring that. I also liked their technical first date. It felt like their technical first date when they were at Olive Garden because like they chose it wasn't like just something to do for their projects at that point. Like they were choosing to be out at like their obligation was off and then they were just like hanging out with each other and that felt like
Yes.
their first date to me.
Yes. I think I liked when they were more, you're roasting me even while we're trying to have sex.
Yes.
Yes. I liked when they were more, like you said, when they were very, when they didn't have an agenda, like when they weren't teaching each other about like their specific genre. I really liked when it was very just casual between them. Like you said, it just, I don't know, it's when they felt more relaxed, I guess, and you can really get into the characters, like get to
And
know the
then
characters.
yeah, and I love like all the scenes on their back porch.
Yeah, yeah, those were probably my favorite scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, I'm trying
I
to,
love the books like I love that it's a book about authors writing books. Like I love that aspect so much. What did you
especially
think about
struggling
their
authors.
yes, and like seeing the process of it?
Yeah.
What do you think about the books that they were writing?
I actually um Gus made a great comment at the very end because she was like, "Well, I guess we failed because we didn't write the other person's genre." But he was like, "No, we each." Oh, I can't remember exactly what he
Like that's
wrote.
our way of that's my way of writing a happy ending, and that's your way of a
Yes,
sad ending. We still have to be
yes.
us.
Uh, oh, she goes, I guess so. I guess we both failed. He goes, I don't think so. I think I wrote my version of a happy ending and you wrote your version of a sad one. We had to write what we think is true.
Yes. God, they're so cute. I just
I
can't.
know.
Like, God.
And you still believe a meteor hitting the earth is the best case scenario in a romance. I,
And then his
I,
response, like being like, well, if I was hit in a meteor with you in the car, that would be a happy
oh,
ending. I'm like, oh
oh,
my God.
my
Yes.
heart, just, yes,
So
yes.
which book would you have rather read at the end? Her circus one or his cult one?
What do you mean?
There are books that they respectively wrote in the book. Would you
I
have
see.
rather read his cult one or
Probably hers. I
The
think if
circus one.
I think if I were reading a book and honestly a meteor hit and both of the characters died, I'd be like,
That screenshot right there, yeah.
I would, yeah, I think I would go more towards her route. But see, I like those types of books. Like some of my favorite, like Nora Roberts, I love her murder mysteries, even though they're mainly romance. Like Black Hills is one of my favorite, and it is like set in um way up South Dakota. It's set in South Dakota in like the middle of winter in the mountains, and there's like it's a murder mystery, but it's also like very heavy set on romance. So her writing style is a little bit more me versus romance sprinkled in with like you know what I mean, like versus his type of
Yeah.
genre.
See, I think I'd be so fascinated with reading about a cult that I would want to
Yeah.
read the cult one.
Yeah.
More of like a it's so difficult to choose from because they're both like the sociology aspect of things, like the study of people in a
Yeah.
cult would be
Yes.
fascinating to
That
me.
would be. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also people in a circus who have their very own like set of rules and code that would also be very
Yes.
interesting to me.
Yeah, I know. And it's very yeah, it's very interesting. I think I would have liked the circus one a little bit better because I feel like I haven't read a lot of circus books. I read The Night Circus, but we both didn't like it
Yeah.
that much. Um, and then as far as that, like there's really no other I mean, Escaping from Houdini has a little bit of like circus in it, which is really intriguing. So I think that would have been very interesting to have read more about that.
Yeah, I think both, and it's interesting if you take a look at both of those ideas that they kind of wrote similar topics.
Yeah, that's true.
Like both took a look at communities that are outside the norm, both
Hmm.
had romance in them. Like it's just very interesting that they constantly talk about how they write two very different genres and they
Yeah.
were trying to like go the opposite and then they end up writing kind of like the same
Hmm.
genre
Hmm.
or
I,
subgenre, I suppose.
yeah, absolutely. They kind of have very similar themes.
Yeah.
Speaking, two things really. First of all, there's when I think they're in the car and he like starts to kiss her. It says, "I didn't realize I was holding my breath."
When was
Did you
this? I
catch
did
that?
not
I
notice
was so mad. I was like, "No!"
that.
Um, I'll have to find it. I was just like, "Are you freaking kidding me? Not again." Um, let me find the cinema. Oh, wait.
I really liked the beginning of the
Oh my God, I'm gonna have
carnival
to
one
find it.
too.
Yeah.
So Hannah says, "I love the donut scene when January was drunk from her purse wine." Yes, that was
Oh
hilarious.
my gosh, purse wine. That's the best thing ever.
Also, I love that like she didn't care about eating in front of him. Like she just was like full donut in her mouth because there was
Yes.
like the way that it was written said something about like eating around the or talking around the donut type of thing, and I was like, I love that that's so real. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't just like half girls have to be dainty and things like that.
Yes. I also liked how at the very beginning she's kind of stands up for her writing and she's like, if I write about my main character's female, it's considered like essentially
Women's
50%.
lit.
Yes. And
Yeah.
like there's a stigma of, oh, you like those types of trashy books, essentially, which is not true. And I do like that. I like how she kind of stood up for basically you should be able to, um, like, you
Anybody
should.
should be able to read anything.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly. I did really like that. I also liked how he wasn't like the typical brooding male trope. Like he was a little bit, but when he found out that like she was upset, he was like, "Oh, shit, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I didn't mean to offend you. Like he's rougher, but he apologizes. And I appreciate that. Like so many male characters are just like, well, I'm not apologizing for being like rough and brooding. Whereas like he's like, I didn't mean to offend you again.
Hmm.
And I really liked that. I liked how he was still like rougher around the edges, but like respectful, I
Yes,
guess.
I agree. Yeah, he can admit when he was wrong or
Yes. Uh-huh.
be sensitive to that.
Yeah.
How did you feel about like the miscommunication trope?
Maybe I didn't like that.
So like,
It
but
wasn't
again,
very
very
long.
relatable.
Yeah, and once again, it wasn't very long. It's okay if it's like a shorter period of time. If it's
But
like
so
the
many of their issues were
entire
like them assuming things about the other person and getting in
yeah.
their own way. So I guess it's more
Mm,
not necessarily miscommunication, it's just
yeah.
like lack of communication.
Which is makes sense for like a new couple and people getting to know each other. You're not going to know everything about one another and you're going to assume things about the other. It's when people are in a relationship and then you get like a bomb dropped and it's like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to tell this person this." And then it's like the miscommunication like hiding secrets trope kind of thing
Yes,
versus them assumptions and like things that they're not willing to share just yet, I was actually okay with. Oh, yeah. I like this comment.
yeah,
Yeah. Um, oh, I read a review today about someone, they didn't like the book. I don't know who it was that wrote the review, but she mentioned, or the review mentioned that they didn't like it very much because they mentioned basically like they don't like it when authors that they love do things outside of their genre. So like if Nora Roberts wrote, she writes mainly romance, but she has written a few like she wrote Year One, the
yeah,
high fantasy. Same with, other authors that kind of write outside of the books that make them very popular. I completely disagree. I think
I
that
agree.
authors should be allowed to write whatever they want. And if it's something for you, great. If it's not, you can't be mad at the author for writing something outside of their comfort zone or outside of something
Their
that,
preconceived notion of what a box they should be in. Yes.
yes, as an author, just like as a reader, like you should be allowed to read whatever you want. As an author, you should be okay to write whatever you want. And if it happens to not cater to a specific like for example,
Audience base.
the host by Stephanie Meyer, so different than Twilight, and I actually adore that book. Very different than Twilight, and I don't think Stephanie Meyer should be limited to just writing like young adult
Vampire books.
fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she can be allowed to write science fiction.
Plus, it's like that author had to start somewhere. So it's like just because that they got popular in a specific genre, they could have started another genre and then went to
Yeah.
that. Like just because that they're good at writing one thing doesn't mean they're only allowed to be good at one thing. And if they've
Mhm.
built an audience and the first time, they can rebuild an audience if it's not for that same audience. That's just a ridiculous comment in my opinion.
Yeah. And a great example is Crescent City by Sarah J. Maas. We didn't like it, but that's not going to deter me from reading her other books or liking the other books that she wrote.
Yeah. Well, we
It's
liked
just,
Crescent City. It just
yeah,
wasn't like
it
on
just,
par with what we normally love.
exactly. But I mean, it
Yeah.
was different. It was very, well, yeah, it was different. There were some similarities to it, but it was, I don't know.
It's still fantasy,
Maybe
but this
that's
was
not,
urban fantasy versus
yeah, maybe
that. And
that's not a good example. Anyways, you know what I mean.
yes.
Um,
So, for instance, like I haven't read it, but I know the synopsis of it. So, Leigh Bardugo with her fantasy writing, and then she just came out with Ninth House, which is like a Harvard set mystery type of secret
Wow.
society book. That's very different from her
That sounds really cool.
fantasy. Yeah, I'll give you the deets on that. Because I've heard very mixed reviews on that book.
Ah,
But
it's probably because of her fan base was expecting the
well,
other.
no,
No, not
the
necessarily.
yeah, I've not heard great things about how the ending was
Yeah.
written. Like there were several things of
Mhm.
like, oh, this is gonna end this way, but oh wait, this is gonna end this way, and oh wait, there's too many like fake endings in the book that
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Interesting.
that I've heard feedback from. But for example, that's a very different genre than she normally writes, but she has every right to write that because
Hmm.
a writer is a writer. She's not a YA writer. She is a writer.
Right. Yes, correct. Young adult versus adult. It's not, yeah. And technically, young adult isn't a genre, it's a class,
Yeah.
it's a category, but we've
Yeah.
turned it into a genre kind of. But, um, and it's interesting because it's like made me realize as a reader that if an author I love comes out with something different, um, maybe I should be more objective with the way I review their books because they don't, yes, they owe, not necessarily that they don't owe anything to their fan base, but they should be allowed to, like, I can read what I want, they can write what they want, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it was very interesting, like, getting it from their perspective, like how they want to do something different.
Do you think that we would review it? We're kind of gonna get off topic here for a minute.
Yeah.
Do you think we would review books if we didn't know who the author was? Like, would we review books wildly different if we didn't have that bias of it being a Sarah J. Maas book or a J.K.
I'm
Rowling book?
Yeah,
Or
I mean, we've
if
read
we
tons
had,
of debut novels this year.
no, but I'm saying, like, if you read a book and you didn't know that it was Sarah J. Maas, do you think that you would, do you think your love for Sarah J. Maas influences how high you rate it because you already love her?
Um, Actually, I think it was the opposite because I was more disappointed with Crescent City because I knew I had such high expectations. So I actually think it was the opposite. Whereas if I go into once again, going back to like Stephanie Meyer, I love the Twilight series, don't get me wrong, but like,
Yeah, yeah. The
uh,
writing is not stellar.
exactly. But then when I read The Host, I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So,
It's
yes
a
and
bit of
no.
a separated art from the artist type of thing. Like, I just think
Yeah.
that would be an interesting experiment to be able to read something and not know that it was one of our authors we've read before and see if we make comparisons to say, like, if we read a Sarah J. Maas book and
Oh.
didn't know it was Sarah J. Maas, if we would connect that writing style being like, oh, this person writes like Sarah J. Maas without knowing who the author was, type of thing. I
Hmm.
think it would be interesting if we would be able, as reviewers, to be able to tell their writing style and we would
Yeah.
be able to pigeonhole them, because I think if people didn't know who the authors were, we wouldn't expect certain things out of them.
I
Sorry,
think
I'm going off on a side
no,
tangent
no,
here.
I love that. I think some authors, yeah, Maggie Stiefvater has a very distinct, poetic,
Mhm.
very
Lyrical. Yeah.
lyrical writing. I think I'd be able to pick up on hers. But then again, am I going to be correct in, is it Lee Bardugo?
Mhm.
Who wrote the Shadow and
Shadow
Bone?
and Bone. Yep.
Yeah. So Shadow and Bone is horrible, but then Six of Crows is amazing.
Right. And
So
very different. Not, I mean,
different writing style too. I wonder if maybe it's just the author can change their writing style based on what they're writing. I guess they also
mhm.
get older, they get more sophisticated.
Yeah. Hone their craft more. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting.
Premise.
What do you think?
I I think that they definitely influence the way that we review books.
Yeah.
I think, at least for me, being completely transparent, if I read a Carrie Maniscalco book, I'm already hyping it up so much in my head that I would look for the brilliance that I know is in her books. And I
Mm.
think if it wasn't there, I would be disappointed that it wasn't up to that standard that she had built for me.
Versus a different author writing that book.
Yes, But then also, I wouldn't want to dock it too much because I would be afraid that that would deter people from reading her other works, which is
Yes.
it is not fair to her other works that people do that. So I wouldn't want to like give people bad ratings to balance it out. I would look
Right.
for the good harder than I would if it was like a debut author.
Right. Absolutely. And Haley, that's a very good, I mean, Haley, I'm sorry, Hannah, that's a really good point. I know, like, especially with
Yeah.
everything going on, there's definitely been different opinions about is the art separate from the artist? And everyone kind of has their own opinion on that. And so, but yeah, it's true. It's really hard to like take out your own bias sometimes. Um, Interesting.
Yeah, just side tangent. I wish
Yeah.
there was like a way to do a blind study and see like if we would be able to tell.
Yeah, I
But
know that's so hard, but you know what? Interesting. Which one is it? Not Skyward. Aurora Rising, which was by Jake Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. I was expecting. So I think, yeah,
illuminate standards,
I
yeah.
think to answer your question, if anything, it makes me more disappointed because I'm like expecting.
Greatness, yeah.
Yeah. But like for example, Heart of Iron by Ashley Poston is very, very similar to like Aurora Rising. And I gave this pretty high rating because I wasn't expecting anything. I had no idea
Hmm.
what it was, I thought it was great. So
So when you are disappointed with an author's works, do you then rate that, like try to look for the good to balance out that disappointment more?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you give them a little bit more leeway, being like, oh, but I really liked this, and so it's not that
Yeah.
bad, to
Yeah.
like make yourself feel better that it wasn't as bad. Because I think we definitely did that with Crescent City,
Yes, we did. We
is that we
absolutely
like
did.
talked ourselves into a higher rating because we didn't like love it like we thought we were going to.
Right, right. But I do feel like we kind of tend to do that with a lot of books. I don't think there's one book where we didn't try and find the good in it.
Oh yeah, because that's still at the end of the day, that's still someone's baby, and they put in
Yeah,
a lot of work, and like there's always good in books, yeah.
absolutely, absolutely.
Unless it's just like trash of being like
Have we read
I'm
any?
not gonna drag anybody, but I've definitely read some trash, and you've read some trash books that we've done some rants about. That's just like, what? There's not good here. Like this is
Yeah,
it's just not
no.
good.
Oh, and that's actually interesting because one of that authors, okay, I am going to say it. Which one is it? Fight or Flight?
Susan, yeah, the Susan Young or something. Yeah,
Samantha Young.
Samantha
I
Young.
loved it. It was so good, but then her on Dublin Street was like
Yeah, yeah.
not good. Um, so that's interesting. Do you think if you read a debut novel of a oh, that's interesting. Do you ever try to downplay your excitement to help you be more objective or protect yourself from disappointment? It's so hard.
Oh no, I live in the excitement, and if I'm disappointed, then I just have more to complain about.
Yeah, that's true. Everyone loves a good rant. I'm just kidding.
So Haley, it did take me a little bit to read, and I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be something that I would just like want to sit down and binge read, and I had to like force myself to binge read it, but it was still really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, I was paying attention to my reading with like Bookly, and I was reading like 70 pages an hour. I was,
Holy
yeah,
buckets.
I know. I don't know how I did it. There was one like stretch of time where I read 70 pages in 60 minutes. And I'm just like, how did I do that? But when I
You
got on,
already read so much faster than I do. That's just like beyond my comprehension at that
but
point.
then, but then there are some books where it takes me a lot longer. Like it could take me, maybe I could read like 30 pages in an hour, 20 pages in an hour. It just depends on
The
how,
style.
yeah, how invested I am. And I can just like fast read it.
I think this one took me longer to read because I was expecting it to be fluffy. I knew after I saw some reviews, I didn't look into it, that this was a little bit more of a gritty romance, but I was expecting it to be
Yeah.
fluff, and it wasn't as fluff, it was more gritty. Usually the fluff is the thing that I fly through, so
It also wasn't smut heavy.
no, and I was thinking about that too. There was maybe like three scenes,
I
I
think there's
think,
about three. Yeah.
and
I
it
mean, do we
wasn't
count the
until like
car scene?
the very end. I would say so.
I mean, they kind of just heavily made out. But still, it was a little steamier, but
Yeah.
it wasn't like full on smut
No, no,
in
no,
the
no.
car.
No,
So,
and like, compared to Sarah J. Maas, like definitely not
no. Or
not that level
red,
either.
white, and royal blue, because this is
Yeah,
what it was
yeah.
compared to.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, okay, so I think if you were to read a debut novel or a book like an author you don't know, and you didn't like their writing style or their book, would you try them again?
Yes, and I have.
Okay.
Well, at least new to me authors. So I did that with Helen Hong, and I didn't love The Kiss Quotient, but I still tried other books by her. I mean, and it's still, she's not my favorite romance author, but like I just didn't care for that book, and I
Yeah.
found other ones that I like better, type of thing.
Yeah.
Same with like Christina Lauren. I think I've
Yes.
read one that I wasn't like crazy about, but
Hmm.
on Honeymooners I loved. So
Yep.
I think it just definitely depends on if you jive with like the main characters or not.
Yep. That's yeah.
Actually, can we segue into our next read? Because that'll be our next read is actually romance, which I forgot what it was because we picked it a while ago.
What is our next read?
Our next read is the lumberjack romance one.
Lumberjack. We've got a lot of romance, like three
We
in a
do.
row.
I
We
know. I was
had By
surprised
the
that we did
Book,
that. I was surprised that we picked that
Beach
too.
Read.
But
Um,
I remember why we picked this one, and that why like we're like, oh, we have to do it because we do have a lot of romance. So I apologize if you're
is this the
uh
one that we read reviews and apparently it's like really tropey?
no, I don't think so.
No. Okay, I'm pretty. We're like
This is
looking for books to like not like.
this is only when it's us.
Oh, gosh, we picked this list so long ago because we picked up until July at the beginning of the year, and then we didn't, and then we picked the last half like very soon. Only when it's us.
So this actually came out in April, but we saw this one and we thought it was too cute not to pick, so we threw it in here for a summer romance. So I will read the synopsis if you guys haven't already checked this one out. This is a new to us author as well. I don't know if it's debut, but it says,
It's got a
prepare for
lot
an
of good ratings.
yeah. Prepare for an emotional roller coaster brimming with laughter, tears, and slow burn sexiness in this new adult romance that tackles the vulnerability of love with human with humor and heart.
I
Let's
mean,
see. Writer, ever since she sat next to me in class and gave me death eyes, Willa Sutter's been on my shit list. Why she hates me, I don't know. What I do know is that Willa is the kind of chaos I don't need in my tidy life. She's the next generation of women's soccer, wild hair, wilder eyes, bee-stung lips that should be illegal, and a temper that makes the devil seem friendly. She's a thorn in my side, menacing, cankerous, pain in the ass who's turned our business mathematics course into a goddamn gladiator arena. I'll leave this war zone unscathed, coming out on top, and if I have my way with that crazy-haired, ball-busting hellion, that will be in more than one sense of the word. And then it says, Willa, rather than give me the lecture notes I miss like every other instructor I've had, my asshole professor tells me to get them from the silent, surly flannel wearing mountain man sitting next to me in class. While I tried. And what did I get from Ryder Bergman? Ignored. What a complete lumbersexual Neanderthal. Neanderthal.
Neanderthal.
I can't say that. Mangy beard and mangier hair, frayed ball cap that hides his eyes, and the stubborn refusal to acknowledge my existence. I battled men before, but with Ryder, it's war. I'll get those notes and crack that Sasquatch nut. If it's the last thing I do, then I'll have him at my mercy. Victory will have never tasted so sweet. Yes! Give me that hate to love. I agree with you, Hannah.
That's amazing. Yes,
So
okay.
This is
I know
why,
why we now I know why we picked it.
yeah, that and it seems like such a strong hate to love of snarky romance that I'm like, yes, I need that.
And this is actually interesting because like these last 3 months, so we've had young adult in high school, and then we're now having this is more like new adult because this is in college, it sounds like.
Mhm.
Yes, college. And now we've did like
This is more like
29.
adult,
This is
adult, yeah.
adult um time.
And then we
So
have Midnight Sun in August.
yeah, but that doesn't count. That's like, I mean, it is romance, but it's like, I'm, oh my God, I'm so excited for Midnight Sun. Oh my
Yeah.
God. Um, but
I'm a little
okay, no, this will
excited
be
to
good.
like roast Midnight Sun too. Like I'm just expecting to like love it and hate it in the same breath.
Yeah, you'd be breaking your book buying ban. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
seriously. I'm
um,
excited for this
I'm
one.
really excited for that one. If the synopsis makes you laugh that hard, I think it's gonna be
Right?
really good.
Like you're already getting the fire out of that synopsis. Like I
Hannah,
cannot wait to get
if
to
you
that.
like that synopsis, you need to read the deal. The one that
I
I
it's on my list.
It's so much like it. It's very similar to it.
So, like you guys have said, I've been like needing that romance lately. So, these are the two books that are, if you guys have seen my TBR, these are the two that are coming up. The
Oh
Kier
God.
Pass, which I expect to like kind of hate, and then the Deal. These are the two that are on my docket. So,
The deal. Oh, I don't know why I loved it so much. Yes, I'm gonna love the
yes.
writing style. Yeah, it that seems so funny. Which
So we try to pick books that come out that month for like the book pick, but we saw, I know, I will read the deal, I promise. But we saw that synopsis and we had already passed April and we're like, we need to put that in our lineup. That's going to be
yeah,
too perfect for both of
yeah,
us.
it's really yeah. I think I'm excited to read that one. Speaking of funny, 'cause we got off a little top tangent, and I know we're gonna be wrapping things up, but this book was really funny as well.
Yes, yeah.
I found myself like cackling out loud, like
Right, and
laughing.
I think that's because like you weren't expecting the funny parts of it.
Yes, yes, yes. It was, there were just some really good scenes. And I like that. I like when books kind of catch you off
Mhm.
guard. So, was there anything that you didn't like? You mentioned the Sonia part.
I
Anything
think
else
that
that,
was probably it.
yeah. Would you recommend this book?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for someone who wants a more gritty romance that's not, they need that substance, they don't just want the lust part.
Yeah.
But this is a really good book for that.
I love that we got to see like you said, there's more to it than just romance, which is fantastic. The world doesn't revolve around the romance. It's her as a struggling artist, a struggling writer, figuring things out with her family. There's so many multiple components to her life and to his life, um, that I really liked.
Yes, I agree.
Because, like you said, there was only a few scenes that were pretty like sexy, intense scenes, but it wasn't. Yeah. Question: what did you think of the ending with like how he like the dad's letters? What did you think about those? I feel
I
like it's a
really
huge
liked
thing.
that idea that he was like writing to her. I thought that was so sweet. Um,
Did you
it felt very much like Princess Diaries, like you know when he was like writing to Mia, like it felt very Princess Diaries, but I liked it. Yeah.
yeah. Did you feel like you hated the dad less? Because we kind of go into the book not liking her dad. Like obviously he's made out to be not a great person. Um And did the letters kind of change that for you? Like, did you start to kind of like understand him more and like him a little bit more?
I honestly didn't hate the dad.
Yeah, I didn't either.
So even like when I just knew that he was cheating on her, I didn't hate the dad for that. I felt like it was a lot of it was wrapped around the diagnosis.
Yeah.
and that like is what spurred that.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like hate the dad as much as I probably should have.
Yeah. And that's what's, yeah, same with me. And that's what's kind of, you feel her confliction because it's like, it's her dad, but like she's so angry at him. But
Did the letters change anything for you?
they made me cry. Especially with everything going on with like us, like reading the letter about like the day she was born, I was
I knew that
crying.
was gonna get to
I
you.
was crying. I was just like, oh my gosh. Like it was just, I don't know. Oh, and then like at the 1 year mark, it was, yeah, I couldn't. It was just so sweet. I don't know.
I really liked in those letters that he was like, your 10 perfect toes and fingers, and even if you didn't have that, you'd still be perfect. I just
I
thought that
know.
was so sweet.
I know. I loved it. I know. I know. I loved the letters. I just, yeah, I thought that was very sweet. It's interesting that he never gave them to her.
Well, it sounded like that he was gearing up to on her
Hmm.
birthday that year and then didn't.
Yeah, yeah. See, and so Hannah, did you feel like after reading the letters that like you understood a little bit more, like you came to like him a little more, or did you still have the same?
Do you want to pop that up there? It only was up there for like a second.
Oh yeah, sorry. Maybe it lags because it was up longer for me. Yeah, it's definitely something hard to get over, like the cheating trope in books. Same with Naomi and Gus.
Oh, I did not like that part.
Still hated him.
Oh, I did not like the Naomi part that she like showed up. I also like killed me that it was very realistic, but it killed me that Gus like even entertained the idea and like didn't worry when January just like ran away after that and didn't like even think about her not
Yeah.
being okay at that. I was a little irritated at that point.
Yes, I
I understand it, but I was like, dude,
yeah,
your girl just ran out and you haven't seen her in 2 days. Like, maybe you
yeah,
should have checked on her that night. Like,
yes. I was oh, that scene. Yes. That yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. She I did not like her character at all. Or she wasn't in there very long, but
right, and you weren't supposed to like her.
yeah.
Yeah,
Did you like I like how he like talked to her too. Like he was really on at the end, like he when he went to actually go find January, he was very honest with her. Like we talked
I did
about
like
it.
that part.
She
Yeah.
wanted me back. I actually considered it because I never actually wanted to get a divorce. Um, but in the end, I chose you. I was like, oh,
Hmm. I did like that. Yeah, that was a very like healthy relationship, like being shown there.
yeah. I thought manipulative. Which part? The Naomi part or his part?
Oh yeah, the Naomi part of her showing up. Yeah.
Gus' honesty. Yes, 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 yes. Absolutely.
Well, is there anything else that you would like to
Real.
discuss?
I don't think so. I really liked it. It was a nice read after the last one.
Yes.
Not that I didn't like, not that I hated the last one. It just wasn't my vibe.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, I did
I'm
like.
excited for the next one
Yeah,
though.
I did like that. It was a grittier romance, though. It was good.
Hmm.
It was good.
And I think this next one is going to be smuttier.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so
There's too
too.
much fire to not be more smutty than that.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be just. I think it's gonna be hilarious. I'm really excited.
Cool. Well,
All right,
thank you guys
guys.
for coming in.
Really appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoyed the book and you're excited for the next one.
Yeah, and then as always, stay tuned on our Twitter and let us know um, if this is a good time for y'all. on Sundays.
Yeah.
And yeah, we
I
will see you guys next month.
Do you know when the live show will be after for the next one?
We
I will,
usually don't have our schedules that far out in advance.
yeah. Yeah.
But usually we're trying at the like first Sunday. Granted, the first Sunday is the first, so or no, sorry, it's the second.
I can do that.
Yeah, I just gotta make sure that I actually have that off because I don't get
Yeah.
my schedule out there
Yeah. Yeah, once we get
that
it. We're going to
much.
try and be better about now that like things are starting to semi go back to normalcy-ish.
Yeah.
Um hopefully we can be better about sending out live the show dates and not just like the day of.
Yes. Well, we gave a heads up for about a week
Yeah.
in advance this time,
Yeah, that's true.
but I'm going. My schedule should be getting back to posting that I'll have at least 3 weeks notice, but I don't have
Yeah,
that quite yet.
that's
So
fine. Yeah, and hopefully mine doesn't change. So, we don't have a book for September yet, right? We had to switch that.
yeah, we are still in limbo for September because
Okay,
Jay Kristoff's is actually um,
right.
postponed, like
Okay.
until then.
Let us know if you have any recommendations for September.
Yeah. So just give us a tweet through there, and we will see you all next month on my channel for what is it called now?
Uh,
The Only When It's Us
Only when it's us. Okay.
by
Oh, it's gonna be
Chloe.
so good.
Yes, I'm excited.
All right, guys. I hope everyone has a great night.
Bye.